What do we want to work out with today? What's up, beautiful people? It's a gorgeous Spring Friday. Gonna do a workout. Trying to figure out what machines I want to use. I've got 5 machines coming this week. Stoked about. Trying to make some room. Really excited. Still a little bit in limbo. I've got all sorts of modifications right here and getting ready. I'm just waiting for my welder to come this upcoming week. I've just got too much I got to do to get this thing organized. And I got to finish these modifications so I can get this gym just better organized, a better flow, and maybe even make it so that I can have it used publicly in a private, setting by other people. It's interesting going back through some of my old videos and just looking at myself and my gym then and how much things have evolved. And I'm like, man, back then I thought this was good, and now I'm like, it's not even close to what I feel like I have now, or what a lot of these upgrades I've made on each piece of equipment, how much of a massive difference it makes. So it's just kind of fun just to sort of look back and remind yourself how far you've come, where you've come from, and then it's always an evolving process. It's never a finished product per se, although I'd like to feel like I'm going to finish this big, huge project I've been working on, modifying this equipment, hopefully sometime soon. Like, that's the interesting, crazy thing. The more I do it, the more I get ideas. The more I'm not finished with that piece. So like this rocket decline I've modified multiple times. I'm like, it needs another handle. I need to fix the strength curve even more than I already did. Like the hammer DY row, using it the other day, I could actually add one more handle and make it even better. So that's what we're going to do. Or this raw Motive Works pullover, I'm like, it needs one more tweak. Or like this explode incline, the lever incline, it needs another tweak. That's what happens when the more you use it, the more the ideas come. Like it seems to be this never-ending stream of ideas. So that's just the beauty of it. Obviously, I assume the risk because I'm permanently modifying a piece of equipment, and if I don't like it, I'm going to fix it again. And I've done that in so many pieces, I can't even begin to tell you. But honestly, I don't know any other place as far as quality of equipment wise when I'm done that will be close to this because of all the little freaking tweaks. I'm not going to stop until everything is improved. And maybe that's just a fairy tale dream, not reality, but we'll see. So guys, so I'm going to show you the sneak peek. This thing's going to be absolutely freaking amazing. Most of you guys probably never even seen this machine to begin with, but when I'm done with it, it's going to be amazing. So I realize actually the last few workouts I've shown have all been back workouts, probably because that's the section I've been working on the most recently with my modifications. I'm hoping to finish this to move on to legs and chest and shoulders and everything else. But this is the MedX Pullover, just a phenomenal machine. Does not get the credit it deserves. You have to use it one arm at a time. This is the way you tilt your torso slightly to the side to use it one arm at a time. Look at the range of motion. I do not know another pullover that offers this much range of motion. It's just the range of motion is absolutely crazy. But this is how you have to use it. It does not work 2 arms at a time, which is why I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves because people don't know how to use it. But the stretch on this, the full range of motion, most people just don't know how good that pullover is, nor most people actually just don't know how to use it. So one of the things I'm running into is I really need to settle down on how I'm going to organize this back section. 10 or 11 pullovers, I don't want to get rid of any of them. I need to make sure I have adequate room, especially with another 2 back machines coming. I've been playing around with this machine for a while. Most of you all know this machine, the Explode seated row. Fantastic machine. I've done some modifications on it in the not too distant past. I'm going to show you just me playing around with it again in a different feel. So I see a ton of people that don't use this, right? They're all have body English trying to pull the weight back. Like, you're not going to stimulate your lats. All you're doing is you're working your lower back. So it takes a very specific cues of pulling your shoulder down and back, as well as trying to keep your upper torso as stable as possible so that all that moves, you're getting a ton of shoulder extension, more or less. So you can see from the side here, the added weight horn is an absolutely freaking phenomenal difference. I went back and put all the weight on the original horn Not even close, guys. Not even freaking close. You can see this, it gives you, you can have the option of doing an up to down type of row movement. One of the things that need to change with this machine, the seat is too low. You could bring the seat higher. It makes a huge difference. Check this handle out, guys. Absolutely crazy the difference it is. It shortens that trailing arm. It allows you more excursion in the machine. It's absolutely unreal, the difference in contraction between that and the original handle. So check this out. I think this is my favorite way to use it at this point. You have one knee stabilized against the back of the pad because what it does is it forces separation from the torso to the upper arm through the lat. Look at the stretch. You have to be able to stabilize and brace your torso against something to stimulate and support that stretch. Otherwise, you're missing out on gains. Look at that stretch. That's what I love about this. So definitely texting a buddy in the gym equipment who's actually getting a chest pad, a specific modification chest pad of this. I'm thinking of doing the same thing. I was actually thinking of it before, but then texting back and forth. He's already got one in the works, which is really cool. So I love the option of adding accessory handles. Now, this is going to work better when I potentially add a pad and stand or semi-stand. I think it'll be even better. But as is, I love the option on almost every row machine, every back machine, if possible, to use accessory handles, not be limited by the handle that comes with the machine, which is cool. And I'm telling you guys, those guys who have this machine, try to stand behind it, put your hips against the pad and let your torso be stable, and you'll feel that flexion and extension through the lat only. Phenomenal upgrade. I'm still highly considering putting that chest pad on. I'm going to try this newly finished Nautilus T-bar row. Never really used it in its finished form. We're going to try it for the first time here. I always love this machine. There's so much that's good about this machine. Very underrated machine, but there are several problems with the machine that I think this fixed. So I'm literally just trying it for the first time. I love the ability to just add bands to this, to be able to stand and face in and face out. And because the weight horn is in the middle, as opposed to most prone rows, as opposed to most T-bar rows, there's a slight mechanical advantage. So part of the issue with that is in its original horn, you got to add a ton of plates sometimes to feel anything, particularly if you do RDLs or just deadlifts with it. That's another cool movement to do. This is just RDLs and deadlifts. So honestly, facing away feels better to me than facing in. Both of them were phenomenal when I was using these. So you guys can't see it, but there's actually 4 different handle options now. The issue with the original machine, the neutral handles are too short. So I actually lengthened the neutral handles about 4 to 6 inches and added semi-pronated, semi-supinated, and accessory handle options, both facing in and facing out. Unfreaking real. To have the weight behind you, way better than the weight in front of you, honestly. With deadlifts, with rows, look at that. See the band attachments. The bands are money on this movement. They're just money. Now, I made it specifically the way I made it because I wanted to use this Titan prone row bench that's adjustable in multiple different angles. I've shown this to you before, how I use it with my Strive Extreme Row. You can use the same thing with this. These are the raw motive work handles. Absolute freaking money, guys. Maybe the best prone row movement there is. Honestly, just so freaking comfortable. So I probably bet many of you are going to see this and be like, way overkill. What is it with all his weight horns? You guys have no idea. Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy. I could not believe the difference from transferring the weight horns. I'm an absolute freaking love, guys. Unbelievable. So good. There's so much I can do with this. I mean, wow. Speechless. Wow. Next time you see this baby, it's going to be even better than it is right now. One of the things I love a lot is epic soundtracks. You guys sometimes probably listen to some of my videos or some of my old videos and hear 80s, 90s music, but I love to play soundtracks. I absolutely am in love with epic orchestral music. I had trouble choosing a pull down, so I just decided to do this. This is the Bolt remake of the Flex. I've shown this on here before. Check out these handles. It changes the line of pull and the mechanical advantage. So notice how the bar is actually parallel with my body without having to lean my body back on the contraction. So that's the cool thing. I don't have to lean my torso back like you do on the Flex. One of the things I want you guys to do if you own this machine, or even the Flex, take the rubber stopper off. Even if you can't do welding modifications like on mine, it's going to give you much more pre-stretch, much more excursion. So obviously if you have decently long arms, you're not going to get enough pre-stretch. You guys that have this machine or the Flex, use some D handles on it and try it this way. What you're going to do, you can put a seat in front or just kneel in front and brace your knees against the knee pad and face towards the machine. Totally different stimulus. Very, very comfortable, particularly with these free-floating D handles that are attached. The adjustability is great on this machine versus the Flex, which just has one grip handle. So I rotate through my pullovers. I haven't used this one in a while. So using this for a long time. This feels best if you have a pad or a pillow behind your back to give you a slightly more upright position. So now that I've got this, I've got the Raw Motiveworks, I've got the Jam and Pullover, I've got the Cross Axis Tech Pullover. All are very similar pullovers with a long sweeping movement without elbow pads. So I'm going to compare all of those very, very shortly. But man, these handles are good. I cannot imagine this machine without these handles. I've made a video on here highlighting these before, but this it just totally transforms the machine. Love the pre-stretched lever. So you can see it's actually a circular cam. If I could actually change it to like a Nautilus cam or reverse Nautilus cam, that would make this machine absolutely perfect. Still love the thing though. Just very, very unique. But honestly, without this handle modification, it's not the same machine, as simple as it sounds. I do like to incorporate some form of frontal plane humeral adduction in most back settings. So this is one of the movements I go to periodically. This is the Polaris Iron Cross, facing away from the machine. I don't actually know anybody else who's ever highlighted this way, but great machine. I'm just kind of playing around with different positions. Actually feels better if you're slightly turned to the side, one arm at a time, and or leaning forward just a little bit. Otherwise, it's hard to fully shorten and stretch doing two arms at a time. But the cam on this makes it like it forces you to press really hard at contraction. So I've got lots of cool lateral raise machines, but I got to go back to the basics sometimes. If I had to choose one dumbbell raise, lateral raise, front raise movement, other than Y raises on the 70 degrees at the Atlantis bench with my Havoc Triad dumbbells drop set, this is my absolute favorite. The Lou raises, the full range of motion is money on this. So the idea is you're not throwing the weight up. You're slowly, you're going slow and you're letting the muscle do the work rather than using momentum. Way harder than it looks. Those of you guys who've done this movement know this movement is absolutely for real. So I'd actually just do 2 sets, one good warm-up set and then one really good, really hard set with 2 to 3 drops on it. I mean, I've only got like 22.5 pounds. Love the plate mates on this. I still prefer, honestly, the old iron dumbbells because you can add the plate mates rather than the cool, sexy looking newer ones. They cost a fortune, and you can't use the magnetic plates on a lot of them. So I still love this old set I've had for probably 13, 14 years. You absolutely will get a lot of front delt, rear delt, medial delt, and trap recruitment, which is why I like this. I'm just not a fan of those half or 3/4 standing lateral raises with dumbbells that just, I don't know. They just don't even come close to the stimulus. And part of the issue is you have to let go of your ego when you do this movement. You can't throw around 35s or 40s like your He-Man or something because it's just humbling. I would skip dumbbell lateral raises 95% of the time and do those exclusively. That motion is so important. I'm just going to do one bicep, one tricep movement. So I'm going to superset from the Nautilus, one bicep to tricep. So leaning to the side, this is way better. So it's almost like a concentration curl. You're shoving it way to the side. The supination on this is money, and the extra stretch on the elbow pad is absolutely freaking phenomenal. So I love this machine just because of the extra supination you can get, but I'm going to have to let this one and the tricep go. I just don't have room for them, so I'm going to sell both of these. So this is a phenomenal machine, though. This is how you have to use it. So you lean forward, and your elbow hits the very, very bottom of the pad only. The stretch and contraction on this is unreal, but you have to use it one arm at a time. You turn to the side, the elbow hits the very bottom of the pad with you leaning forward. Look at the stretch and contraction. Like, I don't know any other machine that gives, in a kickback position, that gives the range of motion this does. And the linkage that's built into these Nautilus 1 machines is so freaking sophisticated. And because you get more excursion with this movement, like, you actually take advantage of the linkage. So just kind of a fun, casual workout. Just taking you through a little bit of a more casual day in the life here at Domination Nation Gym. So I know several of you guys that watch are gym owners, gym equipment manufacturers, connoisseurs of gym equipment, which I think is great. I don't claim to be the end-all be-all expert, but I do believe I have a lot I could bring to the table. It's just kind of a cutthroat type of industry. I'm still toying around with doing my own stuff. I just don't want to assume that much risk, honestly. But you know, you see some designs coming out, and you know, obviously, I think it comes through the grapevine. But I do think several of you guys take inspiration from me. Give me a shout out if you don't mind, and I don't ask for much. Like I said, I don't get paid for this. Still gonna absolutely find a freaking way to monetize this, because I'm not. I gotta have a tax break. This is getting kind of ridiculous. Equipment's more expensive now. Yeah, you know, obviously, if you're a gym owner, I don't think you realize how good you have it, that you can write this stuff off. From us lowly home gym owners who just don't have the ability to write that stuff off. But I'm gonna absolutely figure it out this year. But anyways, I mean, there are several gym equipment companies that have innovative stuff. A lot of it's repeat copies. And I'll be the first to acknowledge if someone's idea or machine or design is better than mine. I absolutely will. But I just know there's lots of stuff I could bring to the table that's just not even out there at the moment. But anyways, it's just kind of a fun thing to take you through a day in the life. Any of you guys are serious about like taking your gym to the next level or your equipment line to the next level, DM me. I'd be happy to show you exactly how to make your line of equipment even better than it already is, and the best in the industry, no doubt.